I'm Claire Seeley and I'm head teacher at St Matthias School, which is in Bethnal Green in Tower Hamlets. And we've been using Accelerated Reader here for well over 10 years. What we've found with Accelerated Reader is it enhances what we do for reading for pleasure. So we do lots of other things before we come to Accelerated Reader to make sure that children read for pleasure, that teachers know a lot of books and they recommend those books and they talk about books. So there's a really rich reading culture here. But using Accelerated Reader enables us to actually see if that's working or not, because it allows us to track really carefully what children are actually reading.
AR has had a really positive impact across the school. It allows teachers to be really aware of who can and can't comprehend what they're reading, which means we can support children at an earlier stage if there is an issue. It also helps because of the Star Reader tests. It means children are always reading books at their level, which allows them to make progress quicker because they're not reading a book that's too easy or too hard for them.
What we used to do was lots of reading comprehension papers. We found those were really unsatisfactory for two reasons. One, they weren't very representative of the sort of challenge children would eventually do in SATs. And two, they were very time-consuming to mark. So for both those reasons, we found Star Reader much better.
There's definitely a very positive and healthy culture around reading at St Matthias. Children very much enjoy, sharing books that they've read and talking about the books that they've read. Accelerated Reader has definitely had a positive impact on children's reading. It's encouraged them to read a lot more. Just because it's able to work out how many minutes children are reading, it encourages them to want to read more in order to increase their minutes and take quizzes on the books that they actually read.
The best thing about quizzing is quizzing can be fun, especially when you've got long books, and also it can also show you your progress when you're reading.
When I'm spending the literacy budget, I will buy new exciting texts, but also texts that have the quizzes on, so that children can read those books and be excited to do well on the quizzes. Also, because often if you've got a quiz on one book in a series, you'll do all of them. I've created challenges where children have to complete a challenge and get a certificate. And I know they've completed that challenge because they've done the Accelerated Reader quizzes, and children are so proud to finish a challenge and get a certificate.
When I was in year 1, I never used to read, and year 2, but soon as I started reading a lot more books and taking quizzes on them, it's encouraged me to read more.
I would definitely recommend Accelerated Reader just because there's a lot of information that it gives you about the children in your class and about their readings. For example, the number of minutes that they're reading, whether they can actually understanding the books that they read through taking quizzes.
And if we didn't have the quizzes, we wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to remember as a teacher how many of those books they've read. But we have that data so that we can celebrate those successes, and it really helps us.
So it gives us really rich data at a really granular level.
A lot of the time, if children are reading a text, you're not sure whether they actually are engaging and understanding the text that they read. But through Accelerated Reader, through the quizzes, we know if they're able to pass a quiz, then they know exactly what the book's been about.